Okay.
Good morning. We're at the end of chapter 1 of Basi Legani, and Bezrat Hashem will soon finish chapter 1 and start chapter 2 today. You'll see on your page in English, we're in the paragraph where it says, the manner of illumination in Atzilus. It's like the fifth line from the bottom. You have it?
Yeah.
So we were discussing the four worlds. Atzilus is in a category of itself because Atzilus is not a world of creation. It's a world of godliness. It's called a world of emanation. There, the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is revealed in a matter of 10 spheros. I heard from Rabbi Baruch Kaplan, one of the teachers of Mayanot, that in the yeshiva there, they explain the difference between the four worlds, Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya are the world of creation, the world of formation, and the world of action, the spiritual world of action. They're worlds of creation. They're worlds that came about something from nothing. Atzilus is already still nothing. It's still godliness. No thing. And the way they explain it over there in the yeshivas with an interesting metaphor, the light, the divine light that is revealed in each of the worlds, they explain as follows. That in Atzilus, the water, if the light is water, yeah, so the water is in the form of ice cubes. It's in the form of ice. Ice is water. It's just water being expressed in a different way. If someone lived before refrigeration and they lived in a warm climate, they never would have experienced ice. They wouldn't even known of its existence. If you would have asked them what is water, the only thing they could tell you is that stuff that you can pour from one glass to another. It's water in its liquid state. Maybe they would know about water vapor in its gas state, but they would never have experienced ice. But we know what ice is. And ice is water. It's just an expression of water in a different way. And I think that's an interesting metaphor because there you see that just like water can be expressed in a different way, yet it's the same exact water, so too the infinite light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu can express in the 10 spheros, the 10 emanations of godliness, which is a different form of expression than just how achdus, how oneness is expressed, yet it's the same godliness. Just like ice is water, just a different form of expression of water. And then in the three created worlds, so Bria, the world of creation, where the existence of that world is an existence where there's a transparency. The existences in that world see and sense godliness in a revealed manner, yet they're a separate existence. They're an existence that's already something from nothing. So the metaphor they give over there is like a bottle of water. Like you have a water in a transparent container. Already you can see the water, but you're seeing the water through a certain filter. It's transparent, but the fact that there's actually a filter, you're seeing what's inside, but there's a certain separation. And then when you go down into the world of Yetzirah, they give the metaphor, it's like a bottle of Sprite, 7-Up, right? You can still see the liquid. You can still see what it is. It's water. It's soda, but it looks like water. But it's the lens, the filter is a little colored already. Those are the kalim, those are the vessels. The vessels get thicker and thicker until you get to the world of Asiya, and then you see a cup of clay, pottery. Can't see the water at all. It's already hidden. Yet it's inside. It's just the vessel, because of the tzimtzum and the varying degrees of coverings, like a curtain, where you put a curtain over a window. So if you first put a very, very thin curtain, right, the light comes in almost like there's no curtain at all, but there's a curtain. The light is already coming through a curtain. But the more you put curtains, and the more the curtains are thicker and thicker, it hides more and more of the light until you have blackout curtains. They don't let any of the light through. But that's not such a good muscle, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he created the world, he was mishatef. His midas harachamim, he was mishatef the yudke vavke with Shem Elokim. He it initially arose in his desire to create the world with Shem Elokim, that the light should be hidden in more of a way than it's hidden now. But he was Mishatef Shem Havaya. He added to Shem Elokim Shem Havaya. He created the world like it says in the Pasuk. Bayom Hibaram Havaya Elokim, in the day that Havaya Elokim created the worlds. And by adding Shem Havaya, it's possible to reveal the light from within the darkness, because the light's there. It's just hidden. The fact that it doesn't, that it looks like it's not there, that's an illusion. It's there. The illusion isn't that it's dark. It could be dark, but the illusion is that you can't reveal the light from within that darkness. That's not true. You can. That's our avodah, and that's what we're talking about in the Maamar. That through iskafia and ishapcha, through at first ruling over your animal soul in order that it should follow Hashem's commands and dictates, like the mind rules over the heart, just like a person who's a smart person who has a desire for something that's bad for him will convince himself that it's not good for him to fulfill that desire, and will not, in fact, actually fulfill it. So too, the godly soul, the neshama, which wants to be connected with HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Torah and mitzvahs, it has a, just like the animal soul has a mashicha, is drawn to things of the body, the godly soul is drawn to things of godliness. So when a person understands he's here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the true life, and he wants to connect to the true life, so at first he's able to, he's not able to actually change his animal soul, but he's able to influence his animal soul to the point that the animal soul listens. And after a while, the animal soul, just like an animal, can be trained to do what its master wants it to do. We can train our animal soul that the animal soul also has a certain meshicha to ruchnias, a certain meshicha also to godliness, to spirituality. Because Sachakol, at the end of the day, the reason the animal soul is called an animal soul is because just like an animal is drawn to what is good for it, right? Things animals don't have a godly, they don't have any part of their nature that draws them to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Their entire nature draws them to what's good for their body. And they won't do things that are bad for their body if they're in the wild, if they're under man's influence. So man can influence them also to corrupt their ways. to a certain extent at least. So just like an animal is interested in only doing what's good for it, so too our animal soul wants what's good for it. So it thinks what's good for it is all the desires of physical pleasures. But when you teach the animal soul, and you teach yourself that what's good for you is to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because he's the true source of life. The life force that comes from Klippa, it's only there in order to give us free choice. It's not the true life. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants us to avoid that. He wants us to, and if we have to be involved in the world, so we should be involved in the world l'shem shamayim, and all our ways should be correct, and the food should be kosher. But we're able to train our animal soul, because our animal soul also has intelligence, and have it understand, yeah, what's really good for me is to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then that's what a tzaddik. Tzaddik is, his animal soul no longer has desires for pleasures of this world. We're not on that level. We have to constantly fight with our animal soul, but we can train it to a certain extent. And that's riskafi and isabcha. Through, at first, training it, and then isabcha, little by little, certain parts of the animal soul get actually changed. There was a Rav who, from England, Rabbi Dessler. He was connected with the previous Rabbi, and he wrote a sefer called Miktam Eliyahu, the letters, the writings of Eliyahu. And in there, he talks about Nakudas HaBechira, the point of Bechira. That the bechira of a person is not always the same. Their choice, what they're choosing, is not always the same. For example, a person, when they're let's say a person who is a Baal Tshuva. So, in the beginning of their derech, in the beginning of their way, it was perhaps hard for them to keep Shabbos. And let's say they were a smoker. It's hard for them not to smoke on Shabbos. That was a choice they had to make. They had to choose it. First, they had to force themselves. No, you can't do it because it's Shabbos, and now you keep Shabbos. But then, after a while, just by keeping Shabbos, they're able somehow not to even want to smoke. They've actually done a hisapcha. The nekudas habechira has changed. It's gone to a higher level. And you could bring a lot of examples when a person trains themselves. Those things that in the past were challenging for them and they had to exercise a lot of willpower to avoid, they don't have to anymore now, but now their willpower has to be exercised in other areas. And a person should always be on guard, because the Yetzer Hara is always waiting. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Cain, yeah? It's waiting at the door. It's always waiting at the door for the opportunity to try to pull a person down. So a person always has to be on guard. And then Rabbi Baruch Kaplan told me, after he told me that metaphor about the four worlds, where the world of Asiya, the light is hidden, it's like in a cup of clay. So he said, one of the Bachurim, one of the yeshiva students said, yeah, but if you take the light, right, and you bring it up to the light, and you're looking from the top down, you can see the water inside. If we raise ourselves up, we can see the truth, that there's godliness in everything, and all we have to do is elevate it. Of course, there's certain things that we have to stay away from that are forbidden. But the things that are permitted, so there are godly sparks hidden in everything that's permitted. And we have the ability, by using those permitted things for the sake of heaven, we elevate those sparks. And even in the things that are prohibited, there's godliness in it, but it's hidden in such a way that we don't have the ability to elevate it. Ultimately, at the end of days, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets rid of Ruach HaTuma, Ya'avir min ha'aretz, it says in one of the psukim of Tanakh that I will remove, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says he will remove the force of impurity from the world. There'll be no more forces of impurity. Then that power, that godly power that's in everything, even in the Shalosh Klipas HaTameos, the completely forbidden things, will be elevated. But until now, we have to stay away from them. So the whole reason actually that the previous Rebbe was explaining these worlds was to explain that through our avodah, we are able to draw down a level of Or Ein Sof that's beyond level, that's beyond all levels. Previous Rebbe said there are 4 levels, there are 4 worlds, right? There's Atzilus, Bria, Yetzir, and Asiyah. But through Iskafia and Ishapcha, which is the avodah that a Jew has to do in his soul and in the world, so he draws down a godly light that's beyond all of these worlds. Amnam Kol Zeh, so we're now on page 4 in the English. The differentiation. This differentiation. Amnam Kol Zeh, this differentiation that we've been speaking about how in each of the worlds the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite light is diminished. Hu b'ha'or sheba l'chayosos ha'olamos mebechinas memali kol almin. This is only true regarding the godly light that is invested in the worlds, which is called memali kol almin, which is called the light that fills all the worlds. Like a person wears a garment, and the garment is his size, right? If a person is a medium size, so if the garment is too small and he can't fit into it, he'll if he tries to by force, he'll rip the garment. It's too much power. If the godly light is too powerful for the world won't be able to take it. On the other hand, if the garment is too big, so he won't fill the garment properly. So just like a garment has to be the right fit for the person that's filling it, so too the godly light, the infinite light of the HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is revealed in each of the worlds, since each of the worlds is a different level of a vessel to receive HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite light. Therefore, the infinite light that's invested in each of the worlds has to be a type of light that can be mitzumtzah, that can be diminished, that undergoes diminishment. It's a type of light that undergoes diminishment. That the power of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, just like he has the power to reveal himself, he has the power also to conceal that revelation. And that power to conceal the revelation is that's the light that comes into these 4 worlds. It's a concealed light, even in Atzilus, which is not a world of creation. It's a world of godliness. There's a concealment, and that concealment allows the 10 spheroids to be revealed. Because if there would be no concealment at all of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite light, there would just be Achdus, like it was before the Tzimtzum. So Atzilus is after the Tzimtzum. The Tzimtzum means the initial concealment. Atzilus is after the initial concealment. Because only a concealment can allow there to be 10 powers revealed. Even though they're 10 godly powers, and they're all unified, and it's a world of godliness and the world of unity. Atzilus is that world which is like a bridge. On the one hand, its inner aspect is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kamoshahu, just like he is, Achdus, Amuhus, oneness, and Einod Milvadai, and there's nothing other than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one. That's its inner aspect. Yet its revealed aspect, which is more of its outer aspect, is how it reveals in the vessels. There are 10 vessels which reveal the godly light, each in a different way. So it's a world, it's a world that's a bridge that from that world, which is also godliness, and there's also 10 unique powers, 10 unique lights. So once you already have 10 lights, you can have the 10 utterances. Those lights can be diminished, and they can come into create a world of multiplicity, where you see more than one. And that's where it begins in Atzilus. Nevertheless, all 4 worlds, including Atzilus, the light is a type of light that's after the Tzimtzum, meaning it's a light that the power of the revelation, the volume of the revelation, the intensity of the revelation is according to the vessels of the world. But this was all an introduction to saying that our avoda of Iskafia and Ishapcha, aval behaor shehu l'mayla mishayshres ela olamos, but the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is beyond worlds. In other words, the light before the Tzimtzum, hu bechinas or hasoivev koloimim. This light is called soivev koloimim. This is called the transcendent light. Shabbat bechinas soivev umakif la'olamos. That it is revealed in all the worlds the same. It doesn't matter. It's revealed in all the worlds the same. It doesn't matter. The vessels of the world don't have any effect on this light. And this is through our avodah. The pasuk said in the Zohar that kad is kaflas. Let's read it again. Kad is kafya sitra achra is stalak yikra de kuchabrichu b'chulei olmin. That when a Jew serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu with his kafya and his hapcha, where he at first trains his animal soul to serve Hashem, and then afterwards his animal soul is transformed to some extent, and not only that, but he transforms the things in this world from darkness to light by using them for the right purpose. So there's a revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light b'chulei olmin in all worlds. In all worlds can mean it's in the revelation is in all worlds. But the previous Rebbe explains that what it means is the revelation is a revelation that is the same in all worlds. It's a revelation of this light from before the Tzimtzum, a revelation of this light that never underwent any diminishment. V'zeu b'chulei olmin, and this is the explanation of the words of the Zohar. That this is a light that, when it's revealed in all the worlds equally. Nevertheless, it has an advantage that it's much, much higher. On the other hand, it's not. It can't be felt. Only the vessel can only feel the light that's shaykh to its kalim, to its powers. Like we said, a person can fit into the right size suit, right? If there's a suit that comes down that fits all sides, or it's a light that transcends all levels, how do we relate to that light? So in other Maamarim, it's explained that it has an effect. But the way it has an effect by it's mevata. It's mevata the worlds. It's not the worlds. It's mevata anything that would be preventing a Jew from serving Hashem. Like when a person has self-sacrifice, when a person is forced to give up his life. So, chas v'shalom, we shouldn't have to experience such a thing, but we know that Jews have experienced such challenges throughout history. So we've seen that a Jew, even if he wasn't an observant Jew, when it came to a matter where he was forced to worship idols, there's no way. All of a sudden there was revealed within him a power which transcends everything. That's the Ora Soivev. And that power of the Ora Soivev, that power of this transcendent light, gives a Jew the power to be mevatel himself. He has to tune into it. He can't tune into it in the way he can tune into the powers that he can feel and sense, but he can tune into it in his Mesiras Nefesh, through his power of self-sacrifice. Now, self-sacrifice has an aspect of it which is like a person can say, "Oh, I don't feel like davening today, but I'm going to daven anyway. I don't feel like learning today, but I'm going to learn anyway. I don't feel like putting on tefillin today, but I'm going to put on tefillin anyway." What is this force that's making him daven and learn and put on tefillin when he doesn't really feel like it? It's self-sacrifice. Yet, that's a good thing, because a person has to do what he has to do, right? It would be better, certainly, if he would feel love and fear, if there would be a life. He would do it with a geschmack. He would do it with an intensity of soul, right? Not in a, he has to, like a person has to go to work. He doesn't want to go to work, but he has to go to work, so he goes to work. So that's self-sacrifice. But the Rebbe says that a person has to make his self-sacrifice also a lichtige self-sacrifice, a lit up self-sacrifice. Sometimes self-sacrifice can be lit up. And the way you light up your self-sacrifice is if, let's say, you're doing it, you focus on what you're doing. I'm doing it because I'm a servant of Hashem, and I'm going to do it even though I don't feel like doing it. And those thoughts themselves can light a person up. So, B'kitzur, by us serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we draw down a holy light into this world that's beyond any differentiation and any levels. However, to draw down this light, in order to do it, it's through elevating the sparks, the bechinas is kafia v'ishapcha, dafka, through these two avodas called iskafia and ishapcha, which we discussed at length. V'zeo kad iskafia sitra achra, and that's what it means, that when the sitra achra, on the side of evil, kasher poel b'avodas lios iskafia sitra achra, when a Jew, through his avodah, tries to nullify his pull to the side of evil, and to transform darkness into the light. Therefore, the greatness, the advantage of light is from the darkness. We'll explain it in a minute. Which means to say that when the darkness itself is transferred into light, it makes an advantage in the light. Sha'or meir begilui, that the light shines ad asher yar lamata mamash, until it shines down here mamash, in actuality. So much of a revelation that the light that shines down here, mamash, is a light of a Kadosh Baruch Hu that transcends all levels. So the phrase, when the darkness is converted to light, it brings out an advantage in the light itself. Normally it's explained, or in the straightforward explanation, it's explained that without darkness, you can't appreciate light. It's only through there being a darkness that you can appreciate light. It's only that because there's night, you can say, oh, it's daytime. If there wouldn't be night, there would always be daytime. The appreciation of the light wouldn't be appreciated. Like there's an expression which says that a tavat midi lo murgash, a continuous desire isn't felt. For example, what's the greatest desire a person has? What would you say is the greatest desire? To eat? Okay. To live.
Oh, to live.
To live, right.
To live.
Yeah, you have to eat to live. And eating is a great desire. When a person is hungry, that's what they're thinking about, right? But if they're not hungry, they're not thinking about it. But a person's always breathing. Are you thinking about your breathing?
No.
No, you're not thinking about your breathing. But if a person would be sick and a person would feel weak and it would be difficult for them to breathe, every breath they would feel they need to breathe. They want to breathe, they want to live, they would feel it. They would be involved. Their mind and their heart would be involved in the actual pleasure of living because of their weakness. But we're living and we're healthy, Baruch Hashem, and everyone should remain healthy and be healthy. All the Jewish people, all over the world, and safe, and successful. So because we're healthy, Baruch Hashem, we're not constantly we're not sensing our desire for life. It's the greatest desire. It's a greater desire than eating. It's the greatest desire. But we don't sense it because we're alive and we're healthy. It's only when there's a lack of health, then we sense it. And that's the idea of that without darkness, you can't appreciate the light. But that's the straightforward explanation. But there's a deeper explanation, and that is that when the darkness itself can be turned into light.
Take the Jews that lived in Lithuania in the summertime.
Yeah.
So far north, the sun almost never sets.
Right.
So for 6 months, they can forget what darkness is like.
Could be. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So the idea of turning darkness into light, right, is a different idea than shining a light and the darkness goes away. When the sun comes up, the darkness just goes away. It doesn't take any effort. But taking the darkness and turning it into light, that takes effort. Taking a behemoth, taking a person who acts like an animal, who thinks like an animal, who lives like an animal. The Maharal says that a Jew without Torah and mitzvahs, a Jew without service of Hashem is like an animal. Like a lion, right? All he wants is meat, sleep, and a lioness. That's it. That's his life is centered around his pleasures. Torah and mitzvahs. The Jew starts learning Torah and mitzvahs, and he realizes who he really is, that he's a part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the prince of the king, that the king sent down here. Because the king had a desire. The king had a desire. It wasn't ours. We didn't choose it. We didn't choose to be born. You chose to be born. You were born. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted you to be born because he wants you to fulfill his desire. We're the shataf. We're the partners of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He has a desire to be revealed in the world. So he created a hidden world, a world where he is hidden. Right? Not a hidden world. The world isn't hidden. We see the world. right? But he created a world where he's hidden in the world. And he says to the Jewish people, you reveal me, that's my desire, I want to be revealed in this world. And it's you that are going to be those who fulfill my desire. What a mission. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was given each and every one of us a mission. So it's amazing when you actually think about it, Most people don't think about it. Why was I born? What's my purpose in life? But when a Jew thinks about it, he's on a mission from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, reveal me. And each person has his particular seichel, his particular koiches, his particular powers. Yeah? And each person has to do what he needs to do. And it says also, it was brought in the Yom Yom a few days ago, Rabbi Avram Avinu, in relation to Avram Avinu, just like Avram Avinu started the Avodas HaBirurim, the Avodah of redeeming the sparks from captivity, the sparks of holiness that are hidden in everything, also in our souls. So too a Jew, wherever he goes, like the Soivev Kol HaSibos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who Soivev Kol HaSibos means HaKadosh Baruch Hu arranges everything. He'll make sure that a Jew gets to the place where he needs to be in order to fulfill his mission, in order to elevate that place, that person himself, the object, whatever he needs to do over there at that particular time. And when he does, so that's transforming darkness into light. That's now the cow, right? Now the cow is tefillin, right? Before the cow was just grazing, and it was an animal. It's a holy object, right? Sefer Torah would rise up to Sefer Torah. The cow could look and say, Nachas. Look what's become of me. Okay. The animal rights activist will get up in arms. How could you say that? Interesting. There are plenty of Jews that are vegetarians.
The chazan at my shul in Wilmington.
Say it again, the chazan in your shul?
In my shul when I lived in Wilmington.
Wilmington is which state?
Delaware.
Delaware's a state?
Second smallest. Second smallest, just south of Philadelphia.
They have tax havens in Delaware.
No sales tax.
No sales tax.
No sales tax, but I discovered the hard way that it's the real estate tax of Philly.
They got you.
Yeah, they got for it somewhere.
Right.
But he was training a boy for bar mitzvah. The boy became a vegan.
What? A vegan?
A vegan.
Yeah.
So he refused to work to Philly. He had a problem. I don't know how they ever solved it, but I remember he came to me and said, what do I do?
I know that's interesting. I mean, he doesn't want to benefit from the killing of animals. I mean, you can't have tefillin without killing an animal.
It's the leather by it and the parchment, both. Yeah.
There's a story from the Gemara that a deer once ran to Rav Yehuda HaNasi. They were trying to trap the deer in order to shecht it, to turn it into kosher meat.
Right.
Or to tefillin, you can make tefillin from deer skin also.
Yeah, kind of cool.
So the deer ran to Rav Yehuda HaNasi, who was a tzaddik, and Rav Yehuda HaNasi told the deer, he calmed the deer, and he told the deer, go. It's good for you. I don't remember the exact words, but told him, go, this is what you were created for. When we elevate, right? When we elevate the world, so the world, right? The world has 4 levels. Starting from the bottom, the mineral, then the vegetable, then the animal, and then man. And then within man, there's humanity, and then there's the Jewish people. When a person plants vegetables, So the vegetables get their nourishment from the minerals. That's how the vegetables grow. So the minerals become incorporated into a higher level by becoming fruits and vegetables. When animals or man eat fruits and vegetables or grains, so then the the vegetable becomes incorporated in a higher level, either the animal or man. And when man eats animals, which wasn't initially permitted to Adam Arishon, it was only after the flood that HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowed man to eat animals. But when man eats animals, when a Jew, I don't know about the non-Jews when they eat animals, and when a Jew eats an animal, right, a kosher animal, if a Jew eats non-kosher food, he can't elevate it. It's not elevatable. Unless it's a case of pikuach nefesh, where he has to eat it in order to live. Then perhaps it is elevated. But that's not the normal case. The normal case is a person's eating food. It has to be kosher food. It's elevatable. The three impure klipos are not elevatable. I don't even know if that's a word. You're not able to elevate them. The sparks are nitfas. They're asur. Right? That's why they're called forbidden, because asur also means, it has two meanings, asur, forbidden, and also tied up, bound below. You can't bring them up above. Like matir asurim, like one of the brachos we say in the morning, release those who are bound, release those who are. So he has the ability to elevate the kosher food. He has the ability to elevate the animal to man. In general, when any man eats animal, they have the ability to elevate it to man. But if the man's an animal, if the man's already, he's a man. But if he's like the Maral says, on the level of like an animal, so I don't know how much the elevation is happening. It's happening, but I don't know how much. I don't know. But when a Jew eats kosher food, and he eats it l'shem shamayim, he eats it for the sake of heaven, meaning that he's not eating it because, oh, there's a good-looking hamburger over there, there's a nice piece of steak. Mm-hmm. That's already not l'shem shamayim. That's his animal soul. When he eats it in order to have strength to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then he uses that strength in actuality to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's mamish elevated the animal to a level of kedusha. He's released the sparks of klipa that are in that animal and transformed the darkness to light, because he's used the world for the sake of heaven. The Gemara says a person shouldn't eat meat on Amaretz, shouldn't eat on Amaretz. And Amaretz is a person who's not a Talmid Chacham, not a Torah scholar. An Amaretz shouldn't eat meat during the week, only on Shabbos. That's Gemara. So the straightforward explanation is that because eating meat involves a lot of halachas, a lot of knowledge of Jewish law. The meat has to be shechted properly, and then the meat has to be soaked, and then the meat has to be salted, right? And a person could fall. There's just so much to do. So you shouldn't eat it during the week. On Shabbos he can eat it. Shabbos is an Indian of like Shabbos. There's a deeper explanation of the Gemara that during the week, when a person is involved in the mundane activities and he's not so focused on kedusha, he shouldn't eat meat because he's not going to eat it l'shem shamayim. He's not going to elevate it if he's eating it just for the purpose of his hunger, then he's not going to elevate it. But on Shabbos, since it's a mitzvah to eat meat, it's a mitzvah to eat tasty foods. So even if you're enjoying the food, it's a mitzvah. So you're elevating the meat. It's a deeper explanation of the Gemara. The Alter Rebbe says that the Alter Rebbe is mechadech. The Alter Rebbe focuses a new idea, a novel idea. he introduces a novel idea into our service of Hashem, and he says that which wasn't said before, that this klipa snayga, this klipa, this shell, which is called the shining shell, the shell that is possible to elevate. There's kedusha, holiness, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's the shalosh klipas atameos, the three impure shells that's everything is forbidden. The Torah forbids, the rabbis forbade. That you can't elevate pig, right? You just have to not eat it, stay away from it. And then there's the fourth klipa, which is called klipas noiga, which means the shining shell, the shining klipa. You can cause it to shine. You can elevate it to kedusha. But the Alter Rebbe says that's only if you use it l'shem shamayim. If not, the shalosh klipas and tameas pull it down. The three impure powers of impurity, they pull it down. And the Alter Rebbe says, therefore, if a Jew eats like a glutton, and he eats just to satiate his hunger, so he's basically taken his animal soul and he's brought it down into the level of the three impure klipas. But if he eats l'shem shamayim, and he's elevating his animal soul to the side of kedusha, and not only is elevating his animal soul, he's elevating the food. And if that food is animal, he's elevating the animal, and that's in our souls. And that's what Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, and that's korbanos. That the whole idea of korbanos, and we're going to see in the second chapter, is going to discuss the different types of korbanos and how that relates to a person's soul. But the idea of korbanos, one of the ideas of korbanos, is to elevate the animal kingdom. Now, the animal rights activists, they can still say, well, you're killing animals. Okay, you're right. When we're bringing sacrifices, or when we're preparing a cholent, we're killing animals. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us permission to kill animals. He doesn't want us to be cruel to animals and killing them for the purpose of eating them or bringing them for a korban. This is not called being cruel to animals. It's the opposite. It's actually elevating the animal from its state of animal to a higher state. But that already is spiritual. That already you have to be in tune with spirituality to be able to grasp that. On the other hand, we have laws to prevent cruelty to animals. It's forbidden to be cruel to any creature, right? And there are people that are careful not even to step on bugs. Most people aren't. But it's written in one of the Sfarim, something Devar. I don't remember the name of the Sefer. There's two words to the Sefer. The second word is Devora. And over there he says that if a person, it says, Tov Hashem lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav. Hashem is good to everything, and His mercy extends to everything He made. So therefore, Tomer Devara. Tomer Devara, that's the name of the Sefer. Therefore, our mercy should also extend to even creatures that we normally wouldn't extend our mercies to. And one of my children is this way. He actually has a certain sensitivity to that. And he talked to me about it, and when I first heard it, he didn't quote from the Tomer Devorah, but he said something like, Abba, why'd you step on the cockroach? Or whatever. Or why'd you spray the ants with the bug spray? And I heard him. And then I looked it up, and I found I told him, and I said, look, this is written in the Tomer Devorah. You're right. It's a certain sensitivity that not many people have. But there's no issur to walk around on the street and just step on bugs if that's what you're doing. But to actually go out of your way to step on bugs, that would also be a bad thing too. I personally wouldn't step on a cockroach. But one time I had a spider in my office. I could have stepped on it, but I got a bag and I got a dustpan, and the spider, I kind of maneuvered the spider into a corner, and then I stuck the dustpan inside the bag. Yeah, dustpan was inside the bag. The spider went into the dustpan. I just lifted up the bag and I took the spider out and let it go. But I'm not saying these things are required if a person has a sensitivity like that, so they should know that the Torah encourages such a sensitivity. Isn't it interesting how a person cannot recall something, and then all of a sudden, a minute later, they recall it? Just an interesting thing. Like it's there, it's there.
In deep storage.
It's in deep storage, but you know what? It's not in storage in the brain. It's in storage in the soul. I know there would be biologists that would probably argue with that, but does it make any sense to look at the brain like this hard disk? I mean, all the neural networks that are, trillions of them. You think the neural network is set up in such a way like that neural network is the program design of a code of a memory that you had 20 years ago? I don't think so. I think that's shtuyot. I think that's nonsense. And I actually spoke about that to a very well respected neurologist, and he said, "I believe you're right." From neurologist. What time are we at? Okay, we have a few more minutes. Okay, we got way off the subject. And a Gentile, we're not able to elevate the three klipos atameos. That's something that we're not given permission to do. We don't. They're forbidden. But a Gentile has the ability. If a Gentile discovers that for him, his mission is to serve Hashem by keeping the 7 mitzvahs of the Bnei Noach, because the Torah is a guidebook, not just for the Jews. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu's revelation for mankind. He gave it to the Jews, and he told the Jews, be a light unto the nations. Teach the nations also how to come close to me. And when Mashiach comes, it says, Ukal Gadol Yavo Hena. Massive amounts of people will come to the Beis Hamikdash. And in the times of Shlomo Melech, King Solomon, people came from all over, the Queen of Sheba. They came, Gentiles came. And Shlomo Melech prayed to Hashem that the Gentiles' prayers should be answered more easily than the Jewish prayers. If you take a look in Tanakh, when Shlomo Melech dedicated the Beis Hamikdash, he said, the Jews that come, give them if they deserve it. What they pray for, give it to them if they deserve it. But those who come from the nations, give it to them. Whatever they ask, give it to them. He doesn't qualify it if they deserve it. Rashi says, because if a Jew doesn't get what he prays for, he's going to realize it's because of his, like the Gemara says, he's going to realize because of his inadequacies. He's going to fix himself up. Like the Gemara says, if troubles come to a person, let him be mipashpet from us. Let him look at his deeds. Let him fix up his act. Let him clean up his act. Let him get his house in order. Let him make himself a kli for blessing, a vessel for blessings. But a Gentile, the very fact that he came from far away to the Beis Hamikdash, now you're not going to give him what he asked for? They'll say, Rashi says, they'll say, just like there's no power in what I used to worship, there's no power here either. We don't want him to say that. We want him to come close. So Shlomo Melech said, make it easier for him to come close. So Kodesh Baruch Hu made it easier for the Gentiles to come close. He gave them only 7 mitzvahs. It's not as hard. It's not as demanding. It is demanding, but it's not as demanding. It's not a full. It's not a full. You love Hashem with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Even if it means giving up your soul, even if it means giving up your life. A Gentile is not required to give up his life for idol worship. Even though he's not allowed to worship idols. It's one of his 7 mitzvahs. He has to believe in one God. Therefore, you can teach a Gentile Hasidus that relates to one God, because he has a mitzvah not to believe in idols. What does it mean not to believe in idols? It means to believe in God's oneness. Not just one God, that there's one God and there's not other gods, right? There's one power. That's true. But you can also teach a non-Jew about God's oneness. Hashem Echad, that there's nothing else other than a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And then it wows him. And it wows us too. And you're allowed to teach, even though there's a general principle, you're not supposed to teach a Gentile Torah, but that means Torah that's not appropriate for him. This is totally appropriate for him, because he is commanded not to worship idols. Nevertheless, he's not commanded to give up his life. A Jew is commanded to give up his life. The requirement for the Gentiles is less. So if a Gentile serves a Kodesh Baruch, and just to continue the thought, that the Torah was given to all of mankind. It was given to the Jewish people. The Jewish people, we have our path of how to serve Hashem according to the Torah, and we have to teach the path of Hashem, that Hashem wants how the Gentiles would serve Him, also through the Torah. So if a Gentile connects to a Kodesh Baruch Hu through the 7 mitzvahs, he's also connecting to Hashem. He also has a share in the world to come. We're not an exclusive religion. Our world to come is not reserved just for the Jewish people. A Gentile that serves Hashem is called Tzadikei Umah, is one of the Tzadikei Umos Ha'olam, one of the righteous among the nations, and he has a share in the world to come. He has a share in Gan Eden. Therefore, they don't have to make up separate religions. And their religions are exclusive, by the way. Only if you're a member of their religion and you believe the way their religion tells you, believe you have a share. They also believe in the world to come. It's only for them. Our religion is universal. It's a universal religion. It's for everyone. So when a Gentile serves Hashem by keeping the 7 mitzvahs, so he's now having a nice tasting meal of pork chops, right? And now he lives his life the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to live his life. He's elevated the pork chops. We've elevated him by teaching him the Torah that he needs in order to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We now have drawn him close, just like it says, Tiyu Mamleches Kohanim. What's a Kohen? In Israel, there's a Yisrael, a Levi, and a Kohen. What's the purpose of a Kohen? The Kohen is supposed to draw a Jew close. He's on a higher level. His avodah is in the Beit HaMikdash. He's so lit up with Kedusha that he can draw other Jews that are plowing and sowing and reaping and harvesting, and their mundane activities can dim their fire. He can draw them close into the avodah of the Beit HaMikdash and raise them up. So we're a nation of Kohanim. Our nation of that aspect of being a nation of Kohanim means to take the entire world and all of humanity and draw them close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just like the Kohen elevates the Yisrael, we elevate the nations of the world. And then the Shalosh Klipos HaTameos actually get elevated. A Gentile has the ability to do that, which we don't. I once asked a rabbi if the mitzvahs that a Gentile has, the 7 mitzvahs, if the effect is the same, as the connection is the same. He said no. He said, but the basic concept is the same. Meaning, if you are grasping on to holiness, it's forever. If it was the same, I guess there wouldn't be, this is just my own thoughts, there wouldn't be an idea of conversion, of giur, right? A Gentile doesn't have to be mitkayer, doesn't have to become a convert to Judaism in order to have a share in the world to come, in order to fulfill his mission. Doesn't have to. But Judaism is already, it's a higher level. If someone wants to, in Kedusha, if a Gentile feels it's not enough for him, the 7 mitzvahs, he can convert. When a Gentile comes to the Beit Din to convert, the Beit Din pushes him away. They say, you don't need to convert. Why? Why do that? Keep the 7 mitzvahs, and you'll also have a share in the world to come. You'll also be connected with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is what a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants of the Gentiles. You don't have to convert to Judaism. We push them away. We push them away not because we don't want them to convert. We push them away because he doesn't understand that yet. That's a novel concept. Many Gentiles still today don't even understand that, right? But this is the truth. So a Gentile can say, well, I don't have to be part of the tribe. And there's a lot of things we do that are tribal. I don't have to eat gefilte fish, right? I don't want to eat gefilte fish. I don't have to do certain things that tribal is maybe the right word, but it's cultural, right?
Yeah.
It's cultural. And you know what? When a Gentile converts and he becomes a Jew, all of that cultural, he's a Jew, he's a full Jew, but he doesn't have any of the cultural experience. That's why one of the conditions of the Beis Din is he has to live in a Jewish community for a while. He has to get a taste of the cultural experience. He has to feel like, is this what I really want? Right? No, wear the dress, go to shul 3 times a day. Is that what he really wants? He doesn't have to. He can be one of the tzadikei umos ha'olam without that. If he wants, it's not that he's going to become Jewish because he wants the gefilte fish. That's not what's luring him. The cultural experience isn't what's luring him. What's luring him is he wants the 7 mitzvahs are great. It's all fine and good. He says to himself, I'm just thinking, what must he say to himself? He already understands that he keep the 7 mitzvahs, and he's probably tried it. But he wants more. He feels in himself, it's something in him. That's why it says, Ager, the Torah uses the expression, Ger shenisgayer, a convert that converts. Why doesn't it say Goy shenisgayer, person, a Gentile that converts? So the Chachamim say, because each convert is already, from the time he was born, and his neshama came into him, it was a neshama of a convert. It was a neshama that wanted more than just the 7 mitzvahs. Therefore it says, Ger shenisgayer. And if a Gentile is mesubak, if he has a question, should I be misgayer or should I not be misgayer? Let him consult with the rabbis in the area where he lives. Shouldn't rush. He shouldn't rush into it. He should think it through very well, because it's not necessary for him. So this is just getting back to the subject of the Maamar. We'll finish the chapter, okay? We'll go another couple of minutes. We'll finish the chapter next
I
week.
won't speak my country.
Is that coming?
Not something, no. I got
Right.
an answer from him.
Right. Rabbi Diamond told me. And so let's just finish the chapter. That week we'll start with chapter Beis, the second chapter. וזהו קדיס כף יסיטרח להסתלק עיקר דקוצ'בריחו בכולי עלמי בחילס האור שנמשך אור הסבב כלומי, that by a Jew's service of iskafia nishapcha, pushing away the desires for this world that are not for the sake of heaven, and then actually transforming parts of his soul and the world which he comes in contact with to Kedusha, that through this he draws down a godly, infinite godly light, which is revealed in all the worlds equally, meaning that it's transcendent. It doesn't mima'et itself. It doesn't become, there's a self-diminishment of the light. Kodesh Baruch Hu diminishes his light according to the level of the vessel of the worlds. This light is not that type of a light that gets diminished. It's a light that shines equally in all worlds. And this is, make me a mikdash, make me a tabernacle, a temple, and I would dwell in it, but not in, and I would dwell in them, not in it. Chazal say, why does it say in them? Chazal explain, kol echad ve'echad miYisrael, in each and every person, Hashem will dwell. Al yedei avodah the bechinas is kafi is hapcha chashufa lenora. How will the Shechina, which transcends all levels, dwell within a person? Through the person serving Hashem with his kafia and his hapcha. Through a person serving Hashem with these two aspects of service of Hashem. Hine nasa al yedei zeh yitarna, or through this, there becomes the advantage of the light that comes from the darkness itself, when the darkness itself is transformed into light, like we previously explained. The stalka kuchabrich yikar to kuchabrichu b'chuli, and then there's meir, a level of transcendent light which is called the Ora Soive. Kitzur, a summary of the entire chapter of the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks we've been learning. 3 lines. Iker Shechina b'tachtainim. The Iker Shechina, the true level of Shechina, is down here. Yevara, the true level of the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is down here. That's where the revelation is going to be. Above, it's according to levels. Down here, it's a true revelation, which is beyond any level. Yevara the Kavanah B'riyas Ha'olam. The fulfillment of the purpose of the creation of the worlds, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should have a place down below where he's hidden and be revealed like a person reveals himself in his own home. The nice kafia is done through the service of his kafia and hapcha, like we explained at length. Mamshich or asoivev, that when a Jew serves Hashem with his kafia and his hapcha, he draws down this level of light, which is b'chul omin b'shava, which is revealed in all worlds b'shava, because it's a transcendent light. And next week, Bezrat Hashem, we will begin chapter base. Any questions?